Everybody, Tim Hughes here, co-founder and CEO of DLA Ignite. I've got back actually for the third time Joe Saunders from Perth in Australia. And this is special because we're actually going to talk about LinkedIn Stories, which has just come out. It's brand new. We haven't got it in the UK, but they have in Australia. And Joe's going to talk us through it about what it is. Always, I ask people, Joe, where can people get hold of you?
LinkedIn, Google, just Google Joe Saunders, look up Wildfire Social Marketing, or find me on LinkedIn. Yeah,
okay, perfect. So you've got LinkedIn Stories. We haven't yet in the UK. I think they're being rolled out worldwide. What is it, and what is it?
You just gave me an idea. I'm going to take a photo because this is going to be a story on my LinkedIn. So, totally. Yeah, so you've seen stories on Instagram and on Facebook and those sorts of platforms, which is where they started. They've pretty much taken a leaf from their book. Now, they announced this quite a while ago, and I was a little bit skeptical about where it would fit because, as we know, LinkedIn is a very different beast to the other platforms. But now I've seen it and I see what we can do with it. It actually means it's a different type of content we'll be sharing. Some people won't use it, and I get that. But it means you can be a little bit more noisy, in a sense, without taking up valuable newsfeed space, because that becomes too noisy. And it also allows people to get to know a little bit more behind the scenes, behind the brand, what's happening in your office, particularly the working from home situation.
So before we get into using it, if we could go back to like what is it?
Yeah.
Because because it's very. I don't like using the word Snapchat because some people don't like using Snapchat, especially a certain age group. But if we go back to what it is, and why it came about, and that would be good if you could explain that.
Yeah.
And then we'll talk about how we can use it.
Yeah. Sorry, that's just me. I always get excited about these things.
I know you are. We'll get there.
Yeah, so it allows you to tell short stories, like I said, behind the brand, and it operates only on mobile, so it's not a desktop feature. And so it's these things: you take a photo, you take a little video, a tiny short video, and share it as a story. So it's a moment, and it only lasts for 24 hours.
And it only lasts for 24 hours, yes.
Yes, so it's that temporary type of thing. So you can be a little bit more carefree. Maybe not carefree fully, but a little bit more relaxed in this approach. And it's only seen by your connections, and it doesn't form part of your footprint. So I can't go, or you can't come to my profile and see all my stories anyway. You'd have to be connected to me to see them on the app. It's
right, and I think that's important that it doesn't appear on the feed, because I think what we're seeing now is a lot of people that are concerned about the noise on the feed. And even though you can actually reduce it, you can unfollow people and stuff like that, I think it's still noisy. And I think the last thing we need is like more stuff. And I think the concern is that always is that LinkedIn is becoming like Facebook. So even though you say Facebook and Instagram have got those things, kind of LinkedIn has always been a place you can go that isn't quite so noisy.
Well, that's right. But if you notice, particularly over the time of COVID and working from home, the tone has certainly really evolved, I think, on LinkedIn. There's a lot more people sharing more relaxed type of content. There's a lot more volume of content. So I think this is an answer to almost getting rid of some of that content from the home feed, because I've got a bit of a, my way of looking at it is your content feed worthy? That's the question you should be asking. Why are you sharing it? Or are you just letting people into your world somewhat? Is it a little bit more self-serving, or is it connection building, or is it actually adding value? Because I think the home feed is for adding value and building relationships, not just the fluff and nonsense, so to speak.
Yeah, and I think that the thing about stories is that it's also about authenticity. If you're connected to someone, know them, like them, love them. And building that, so you can basically, as you said, you could take a photo of you being interviewed today, and put that out as a story, and that's a little bit about you. You'll get this is Joe and her interview, but you won't necessarily get. If we're taking that photo, they find more about you as that authenticity and that authentic person. Let me get the tense of the word right.
Yes.
Yeah. And then I think that builds that, that know them, like them, trust them. And the more we can get people to know them, like us, trust us, the more likely they're going to buy from us.
Well, that's right. And I think because stories are only 24 hours, a lot of this content doesn't need to be indexed. It's not adding any value to our professional footprint. Therefore, it doesn't need to have that longevity, but it allows you to see things in the moment. It's very almost Twitter-esque in that sense. You know how Twitter, like the lifespan of a tweet, I mean, last time I had it was something like 18 minutes. It's probably less now. Or maybe not, because it's not a sort of really busy place anymore. But this allows you to have that Twitter kind of now knowing it's not going to last as well.
Yeah, I mean, when Snapchat started, it was very much about you created a small video or something or photo, and it lasted 24 hours. And then because they wouldn't sell out to Facebook and Instagram basically copied it. Yeah. But it's a bit like I often see it as, if you go somewhere and you take a photo, you can put that on Instagram. But often when you actually go there, you could do the I'm getting in the car. I'm got to get all the kids in and all their stuff in. And then we're driving down the road, and each of those things could actually take a photo. And if you actually do that all on Instagram, it actually kind of looks boring. Whereas if you do it on stories, you get a story, and I think that's really the essence behind it, that you can get more into the storytelling without having to post loads of things about kind of the same thing.
Well, that's right, because it allows you to almost create a serialized type of piece of content that's broken up into sections. So, for instance, you're about to step on stage and speak. You could do the whole lead up to that. What are you deciding on? Is it shoes A or shoes B? And then is
it blue hair or red hair?
Well, that's right. Yeah, all those decisions that come along, and they're part of the story and part of your brand, but they're not, like I said, I'm calling a bit of fluff, because they're not a real core part of your brand, but they're the real depths of your brand. But people don't necessarily see. So it allows you to put that forward a little bit and let people get to know you.
So I think that I mean, they've been talking about it for a long time, and I think that it's something that will add value and actually help.
I think so, and I think, like I said, when I first heard about it, because I think we were comparing it to your Snapchats and your Instagrams and whatever, and a lot of that is about your fashion bloggers and people just getting in front of the camera and look at me. Whereas LinkedIn, it's not about that. And that's not the tone of the platform anyway. So I don't see it being overused. Now, there are some limitations. Now, do you know how many stories you can share each day?
Tell me.
100.
Wow.
I'm like, do I intend to share 100? No.
No, but somebody will.
Exactly. And that will be the.
And then they'll post on LinkedIn, I shared 100 stories today. And you go, did you really?
And
do you not have anything else to do?
Well, exactly. Did you how many people actually watch them? So you've got analytics, but once they're gone, that's a lot of effort in finessing yourself. And now, one thing that LinkedIn doesn't have on the app is for stories is filters and all that sort of stuff. Now, I'm saying yet. Let's hope that doesn't come. But they do have stickers.
They've got stickers, yeah.
Which we've already seen. I mean, stickers apply when you upload videos and images already. So it's exactly the same concept. But one of the stickers they've added, which is similar to Instagram in terms of functionality, it's a functionable sticker called mentions. So it means you can mention someone in your story, which I think is useful. That I'm sure that other useful.
Is that the same as tagging?
Pretty much, yeah. So
okay.
it's
you just like tag 50 people.
Well, I'm not actually.
Sorry,
I'm not sure what the limit is, and I haven't really tested that limit, because it's not something I would necessarily do, because it's about relevancy. But you can mention a whole heap of people, tag them all in the story, but then you'd cover the story with tags. You wouldn't see the story then, because they are stickers in the sense that you see them.
So in terms of the things that you can share, you can do things like behind the scenes, productivity, morning routines, work life, taking the dogs for a walk.
You set up, what's in your office, who you're working with. There's a whole range of things you could
team meetings, and what sort of things. So you can share images or video up to 20 seconds
Yeah.
on a mobile, add stickers and text overlays, mention people by tagging them, and post up to 100 a day.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, with the images and video, you could choose to just take an image in the app itself. So click the camera and shoot that particular thing to show where you are right now. And same with video, you can do a 20-second video or less, or you could upload an image or a video. So this is where you might get a little bit more curated with it or a bit more organized. I mean, one thing I was testing is you've got tools like Canva, and Canva have templates for everything, including stories, which are generally designed for other platforms, but they fit LinkedIn. So you could create a branded story. So it's not just you in the moment now, it's actually you curating pieces of your life and making it branded. So depending on where that fits with your brand, and if that looks a little bit too manicured, or do you want to keep it a bit raw and in the moment? It's personal choice.
Yeah. And so you I mean, do you see brands using this, or is this going to be more of a personal thing?
Well, right now, I mean, in Australia, only profiles have them, but brands are coming. And I know the Netherlands have just got companies or brands. I do see brands using them, but I think it'll be a different type of storytelling. But then you can use it to introduce your team, what's going on behind that event that your organization is putting on. The team meetings, what are you having for morning tea? This is where the food will come into it probably. So I think brands will certainly use it in order for their audience to kind of connect to the team as a whole. Yeah.
Okay. And I mean, I think it's a big thing. It's a big change, and I think it's not like how many change some of the changes to the algorithms, which can be quite small. I think it's quite a big change in the way that we work and the way that we need to think about how we use LinkedIn. And I guess we need to play around with it for a bit to get used to it. And some people will get a bit at it, and some people will be bad.
Yeah, and I think the people that are already comfortable putting themselves out there will definitely take it up, because it's not as public as the content we put in our feed. It's a little bit more private, actually. So it gives you that ability to share more without it being, like I said, part of your footprint, which I think is a really important part. But it's the first time that content on LinkedIn has been private or limited in a sense by default.
And I think with the COVID-19 thing, I think there's a blurring of the work and the home life anyway, because we're all sitting on Zoom calls and we're all seeing someone's talking and you can see the pictures on the wall and the dog comes in and stuff like that. So we're kind of used to that merging of the work life balance anyway.
Yeah.
And we're used to the Facebook thing of we see people on Facebook and we see some of their personal lives. So I expect it to merge in on LinkedIn anyway.
Yeah, I think so. And I think it will work well if we keep it authentic and real. But I think what won't work is and this is where the marketers will come in, and where they think, how can we use this to sell more, to promote more? And I've done a few tests myself, and I did a series of stories about an event that I've got on Thursday. I run LinkedIn Local Perth here, and we're talking about SEO and LinkedIn. That's the topic. So I created 3 stories around that. Now, I don't see that being a really effective way of marketing something, because there's no link. And someone did actually message me. Now, the way you interact with a story is you can't react to it as well, which I think I've actually suggested that. I think they need to add reacting, because you want to be able to go like it or celebrate it or even laugh with it. I think humor needs to be in there. So right now, all you can do is private message the person in response. So either we're going to get a lot of messages to deal with, or we're going to get nothing. Now, if you private message someone, so say I'm promoting an event or say it's a product, there's no way to link on that. I can only mention people. I can't, put a live link. So people can message me and say, well, how do I book? And that's what a response I did get, because I was testing it. I thought that's exactly what I was expecting, because there's no way to engage with this. You'd have to know to go to my profile to find that event, or I have to tell you where to go to get it.
That's an interesting point, which is, that you can't. So could you put a URL, book here, or something like that? Or
well, you could put.
In a way, you want the interaction, because the fact that someone's come and said, "How do I book?" is actually good.
It's a positive signal.
You're in a conversation with them.
Well, that's right. And then I suppose responding to that, you could send them the link and you might have that all templated and ready to go. So absolutely, because you might be doing it well, maybe it might be good for early stages where you're planning an event and you're trying to work out do I have an audience for this? So you could do some sort of curiosity type post to get people engaged initially. But I think on that sales journey, if you're at the selling stage, yeah, I mean, people can definitely message you, but if you're trying to go for mass volume, it's going to be really hard to manage that. So it's really about relationship building. I still see it as that way. And if you're just using it to try and sell directly, I mean, as we know, LinkedIn's not a platform to sell directly.
No.
Yep.
No. We keep telling people that they don't. So tell me about the launch, because you got invited along to see LinkedIn. They actually invited you, didn't they?
Yeah, I nearly fell off my chair actually. Yeah. So
the dog will get it. Don't worry.
Sorry, the door. Oh, did you actually hear that?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. I didn't even hear it because I've got my headphones in. And yeah. Anyway, no, it's for my son. It's all good. Joys of working at home. So LinkedIn actually invited me to this launch, and I really wasn't sure. I thought it was going to be like a webinar, but it was actuing they ran it as a Zoom meeting, so we could all see the other attendees. So I saw the other LinkedIn trainers in the meeting, and a lot of them were people I know and respect. So it was good to see. It was really good though that they actually picked us to be part of it, because I think they've actually realized we're their biggest brand ambassadors and they should be leveraging it. So we got to see where it was going. I mean, this was the day it launched, so we didn't get a lot of notice, but they wanted to engage us so we could talk about it and get people excited about stories, which was good. So we got the whole heads up of what's going, and also what's coming next. So, brands, like I said, is the next thing, and they're very open to suggestions as well.
Okay, that's fantastic. I mean, it's really good to see that they're actually getting involved and inviting people along, because in a way, you support LinkedIn. I think the difficulty I think LinkedIn always have is that you actually don't make any money for them, because actually you can do social selling without buying anything. You can do social selling by using LinkedIn for free, and they're not a charity, because they want to sell you adverts and they want to sell you Sales Navigator and they want to sell you recruitment and stuff. But actually recognizing that there are people out there that are advocates for them, and keeps the platform in people's using the platform, people signing up for the platform is great.
Well, that's it, because I take people on a journey. Yeah, we start with free, but then we go into premium. So I'm getting people ready for those higher end products that they sell, and advertising as well, which is another obviously revenue stream of theirs. So yeah, so it was good to chat to. We had the marketing director from Australia, New Zealand, and also the product manager from the US. So it wasn't just the Australian team. So it was really good to actually hear it and be part of something.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So have we missed anything out in terms of stories? What they're for, how you're using them already?
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see how long I use them. But because my initial thought was, I don't use stories on the other platforms. It's not. I don't consume them, and I don't use them.
Are you going to are you going to take one now and do the demo?
Yes.
Because you have to be in LinkedIn, don't you, to do it? Or can you take a photo off can you take a photo and then upload it?
Yeah. So that's what I was thinking, because I tend to do a lot of. Actually, I'm going to do one with my microphone in. All right, let's take a photo here. Okay. All right, let's smile. And actually, because I'm just thinking, if I do a video and you're talking, you're on my headset, so it's not going to work. Let me just do that now. Excellent. So I'll post it afterwards.
So we are doing LinkedIn stories live. Yeah,
yes.
That's a first.
Okay, right. I'm just thinking, if I take up my headphones, we could get feedback though, couldn't we?
You could do, yeah, like Jimi Hendrix. It worked for him.
Do we want that?
He got famous from it.
All right, let's give it a go. Right, I'm just going to take this off. Love it when we do live things. All right, you can still hear me, can't you?
Yeah, I can, yeah.
And I can't hear you now. Hang on a second. There we go. I should be able to hear you now.
You can hear me now?
I can. All righty, let's do. Excellent. Okay. All right.
Are you uploading? Am I smiling or?
All right, I'm just working out. Right, let's actually do a video. But I'm not gonna do it live. I'm gonna post it after, so we can edit it out. Excellent. Awesome. Hi, Tim. Thank you for this session, and welcome to my story. What have you got to say to my network?
Something authentic, I would think.
Something authentic. That's a good tip. Excellent. Cool. Like I said, it's going to be super short. So let me just fix that up again. Awesome. Yeah, so I'll put something together and I can tag you. And then what will happen, even if you don't have stories, if I tag you, you'll get a private message with a link to the story, and then you'll see all my other stories, because you can then it's like you're in the story, and then you can kind of move through the rest of the story.
Out the story.
Yes, that's right. So you can be the story. If obviously with time differences, when you mention someone, or actually there's something else I haven't shared that you can do. I'm not a big fan of this. Is you can actually share your story. So once you've uploaded it, you can hit the 3 dots and you can share the story to other people. So this is what I've been doing with a few people that don't have stories yet. But that's where the spammy kind of activity can come in. Because if I post a story and then I send it as a private message to 50 people, they might be thinking, why are you private messaging me your story when I can see it up there? So I'd be really careful of that. But what happens is, if they get the story and obviously the 24-hour period has passed, particularly with time zones, if I send it to you and it's nighttime and then you don't get it till later, you might miss it, and it just says story ended. So you can't actually go into the story once it's complete, that cycle. You can also delete stories if you accidentally share something that you really don't want out there. And you can download your stories too. So if I share a story, so for instance, if I've shared a video, I've added some stickers and some fun to it, I can actually download that to use elsewhere if I want to, or just
that's great. Yeah, preserve
it and frame it. Maybe I want to frame it.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yes.
Cool. That's been really interesting, Jo. As always, thank you very much for sharing your expertise. Congratulations on getting stories up and running. And I look forward to being in one of your stories a bit later on, across the other side of the world.
Yes, and I look forward to seeing your stories when you finally get it. Do you think you'll use it yourself?
Yeah, I do. I'm actually a Snapchat user, so I forced myself to actually use Snapchat. It was Gary Vee. I remember watching one of his presentations, and someone said, he went all in on Snapchat, and then of course it's kind of fallen by the wayside. And he said, but the skills that you learnt on Snapchat are big on stories, and stories are now big, and the fact that they've rolled it out on LinkedIn. So, and I think that's the same with all social media. I mean, I'm going to have to do something with TikTok, because I can just see that something's happening. And I need to know that it's not about being on the platform. It's actually understanding and being on the platform and understanding it and getting those skills.
So you're not on TikTok yet either? I
am on TikTok, yes.
Oh, you are? See, I don't even have an account. I've just resisted. I did sign up with the other one, though, that is the new TikTok, Byte.
Okay.
Which is, I think that one's because TikTok, was it developed in China?
Yes, Chinese. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So this is the opposite one. It was developed. There was some sort of competition. So this is one, but it hasn't really taken off. But I'm not in.
Yeah. Well, but I mean, I'm on TikTok, and I've actually done one video, which is I was sitting in a restaurant and I just played with it, and for me, I think it's important always to keep up to date with technology and to enable you to understand it, which is why I forced myself to use Snapchat. And learn how to use that. And of course, maybe people aren't using Snapchat, but I'll be using those skills for LinkedIn stories.
Well, that's right.
I was thinking actually that it would have been, if I had stories today, would have been perfect to take a photo and and do that as you've done live.
Yeah, because sometimes it's not about the platform. I mean, I just going back to Snapchat. I use Snapchat, but I don't post much on Snapchat. I use it mainly to create content for other platforms, because there's some great tools within Snapchat and great filters.
There are,
and
voice. The filters, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm always using the filters to take photos of myself and then using them on Facebook.
Yes.
I just get bored of seeing my photo, so I take a photo of myself with a filter. So we're connected on Facebook. I mean, if you look at my photo, it's just from Snapchat, and I just there's just so many amazing filters and stuff on there to do stuff, which actually don't take a lot of effort. I mean, if I can do it.
And you've just reminded me of a filter that was out a while ago, and it was from Snapchat, where you could do a face swap. And I remember choosing, you had a photo which was almost a drawing of yourself. It was like and I face swapped myself with your. It's the weirdest thing ever. I don't know if I've ever shared it with you. It's creepy. It was just, I think you're in my camera roll for some reason, or maybe connected to
Scary.
profiles. Anyways, it was really funny.
I did it with my partner. I think it must have been a long time ago because we were on the train into London. And I showed it to her and she nearly jumped out of her skin. I mean, it was like, what is that?
I can't see LinkedIn bringing that in, but, you know.
Yeah. But there's some, I mean, there's some, you know, the thing about Snapchat, even though there are some great filters on it. And I know it kind of sounds a bit near, but actually it's useful to understand and useful to know this stuff. That's my.
Oh, absolutely. I know. I just love learning about technology, but like I said, with TikTok, I resisted signing up just because I didn't want to get into another platform. But I think it's good to see how these things can, how you can use the content strategy across the board.
I've seen your stuff on Instagram, and the stuff that you're doing on Instagram, which is TikTok like.
Okay, so I think I've just got this whole it's just for dancing mums embarrassing their kids kind of, you know.
Well, I think there's some, if you're doing some of the inside what you're seeing brands doing. I mean, there's a English in the UK, there's an organization called English Heritage that looks after old buildings, and they're using TikTok. And I think, you could start getting used to it in terms of if you're going to do inside, this is me on the way to a conference or stuff like that. Or here's some people, here's some of my friends and colleagues that you could put that on TikTok as well. You don't have to be, dancing dads and stuff. Yes,
I think I've applied my own kind of principle, the whole get good or get off principle, and it's just one I haven't got on yet because I've decided it's not a platform for me, but it is a platform, like I said, for many people, and maybe I'm missing some content opportunities that could be used elsewhere. Or
it's the skills. It's the skills, Joe.
Yes,
it's not just the content. It's those skills that you need. Yeah. Anyway, great talking to you, Joe Saunders from Perth. We didn't even seem to get, last time we spoke, there was like a 1 second delay, but we didn't, it's just like I'm talking to you in the room. It's really amazing technology.
I'm actually on cable this time because last time I was on Wi-Fi, and I've also got a new MacBook since then. And yes, I think it's just.
Yeah. There was like a 1 second, there was like a 1-2 second delay last time.
Yeah. So I'm pedaling faster today.
Good. That's good talking to you.
Likewise.
And talk to you soon. Bye.
Yeah, thanks. Okay, see you.